These are Ohio cold cases for 2020. Before we go over the cold cases, please make sure that you're following the channel. You give this video a like and you share it out. It not only helps the channel, but it helps spread awareness on these cases. Also, please forgive me for any names that I may mispronounce. We're not quite sure why, but it seems, especially with Ohio, starting around 2002, a lot of these cases just don't have any photos available. But we know the importance of spreading awareness, so putting out their name and their details help just as much. And if you live in Ohio and you know the reason for this, please let us know. Rhea Johnson disappeared from Columbus on February 20th, 2020. She's a black female. She was 16 years old at the time. She would now be 20. She was 5'2" and weighed 164 pounds with red hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-645-4545. Nikia Williams disappeared from Mansfield on March 26, 2020. She was 16 years old. She would now be 20. She was 5'6" and weighed 120 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 419-755-9724. Alan Rutherford disappeared from Hamilton on April 3, 2020. He was 17 years old. He would now be 21. He was 5'10" and weighed 175 pounds with brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information, call 513-785-1300. Anaya Florida disappeared from Columbus on April 4th, 2020. She's a black female that was 15 years old. She would now be 19. She was 5'8" and weighed 150 pounds with blonde hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-645-4545. Amari Davis disappeared from Bedford Heights on May 3rd, 2020. She was 17 years old. She would now be 21. She was 5'1" and weighed 125 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 440-786-3222. Absolute Divine Sharp disappeared from Reynoldsburg on June 6, 2020. She was 14 years old. She would now be 18. She was 5'5" and weighed 337 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-866-6622. Aiden Patterson disappeared from Columbus on July 22, 2020. He was 15 years old. He would now be 19. He was 6 foot, weighed 240 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-645-4545. Yulissa Fuentes disappeared from Dayton on August 13, 2020. She was a white female that was 16 years old. She would now be 20. She was 5 foot, weighed 130 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 937-333-2677. Todd Williams disappeared from Reynoldsburg on August 18, 2020. He's a black male that was 15 years old. He would now be 19. He was 5'3" and weighed 130 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-866-6622. Christian Atkins disappeared from Pickering on August 26, 2020. He's a black male that was 12 years old. He would now be 16. He was 5'2" and weighed 120 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-575-6911. Randall Allen Jr. disappeared from Lima on September 26, 2020. He's a black male that was 14 years old. He would now be 18. He was 6'1" and weighed 185 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 419-227-4444. Kira Allison disappeared from Martins Ferry on October 22, 2020. She's a black female that was 17 years old. She would now be 21. She was 5'1" and weighed 130 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 740-633-2121. Kiora Thomas disappeared from Columbus on December 4th, 2020. He's a black male that was 7 years old. He would now be 10. He was 3'10" and weighed 40 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-645-4545. Nilo Lattimore disappeared from Cincinnati on December 4th, 2020. He was 3 years old. He would now be 6. He was 3'2" and weighed 31 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 513-765-1212. Scott Unger disappeared from Utica on December 12th, 2020. He's a white male that was 15 years old. He would now be 19. He was 5'7" and weighed 130 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 740-670-5555. If you have any information on the whereabouts of any of these missing persons, please call 911 or the number listed with their picture.